Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody had a great day today. I did. Today was a very eventful day for me. Your boy was working hard, and I'm just happy to be here and continue this thing, man, to come before you guys and stay consistent with it. Wanted to come on today. Had an idea to do a little something different, and that's what I'm doing. It's gonna be a little fun tonight because I got lights out and I'm outside. And when you down south and you outside and you got lights, guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have some skeeters, some insects. But I wanted to come before you guys, man. I hope everybody doing well. It's gonna be a little noisy. It's gonna be a little noisy, but it's gonna be a good thing. Coming to everybody, I'm live directly downtown Uniontown, Alabama. Right here, literally less than a block away from Highway 80. I had the idea to do it, and hey, I said, let me do it. I got a little set up. It's a little crazy, but we making it work. But I hope everybody's doing well. And tonight, I wanted to just talk about, among a few things, talk about a conversation on what does Alabama law say about absentee ballots, and dealing with that and talking about that. Because when we got, we know it is, I've talked about it before, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. If you go to the Secretary of State page, on the Alabama Secretary of State page, and if you go, you can look up historical data. I've looked it up. The state of Alabama, every 2 years they do like a breakdown of the voting data, and they give you a breakdown on how many registered voters per county, how many voted in that election, how many was Republicans, how many was Democrats, and they give you the percentage of the number of absentee ballots and the percentage of those absentee ballots based off of the total number of people voting. Perry County has led the state of Alabama since I look back to 2018. Since 2018, Perry County has led the state of Alabama with the highest average. Wilcox County had a higher average than them 1 year, but it was like about like 0.2%. But mostly Perry County leads by far. For example, in the primary election in 2024, the state average for every county, the average percentage for every county, to include Perry County, the average percentage of absentee ballots was 1.9%. Less than 2% of the total votes were absentee ballots. What does that mean? So in 2024, in the primary election, if there was 100 votes, 2 of them was absentee ballots based off of the average for the state. In Perry County, it was 21.22%. 21.22%. That was 10 times higher than what the state average is. So when you sit down and think about it, why is Perry County constantly leading the state in absentee ballot numbers? Now, I'm gonna put some other things into perspective. I can't remember the year, but I will go back and find it, and I'll bring it back up. But Tuscaloosa County got roughly 230,000 people in that county. 230,000 people, I think, registered voters in that county. And 1 year, Perry County has about 7,800 people. But they got more people registered to vote than they got actually living in the county. But one election cycle, Perry County had more absentee ballots than the entire Tuscaloosa County. And Tuscaloosa County got about 30 times more than the population. Because if you take 70, about 23 and the 7 goes 3 times. So that means that 7,000 goes into 230 about 30 times. That is alarming. And that doesn't mean that right there doesn't speak to the fact that, that doesn't speak to the fact of why. Because absentee ballots, and I'm gonna pull it up in a minute, but I'm gonna discuss what absentee ballots are supposed to be used for. And it is widely known that Perry County harvests absentee ballots. Now, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to come to you live. And I wanted to come to you live because this is a building in downtown Uniontown. Downtown. This is a building, downtown Uniontown. I'm gonna turn the camera around. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is downtown. This right here is a building, downtown Uniontown. Just take a look. Right? And then when I've been talking about Perry County, when I've been talking about these conditions, when I've been talking about the incompetence of these leaders down here, you know what? Everybody get mad and everybody get in their feelings. But do you see this? This is a building downtown, a city in Alabama. Downtown, a city in Alabama. My hometown. And you wonder why I've been as consistent and as passionate and as committed to it, because this right here, it doesn't have to be that way. But it is that way because we as a community, we remain silent. We just take the status quo and we go along to get along and we defend this foolishness. All because we may be in good with that person. That person may have done something for us. But when you look around and you see the conditions that we are living in, you shouldn't be okay with that. And I will recall, this is the same location where I walked out, the same location. If you look across the street, over there, that's the Dollar General. When I came out in October, I walked out and I looked over here and I saw this building. This building, when I saw this building, it broke my heart. That's when I decided to go around and I decided to take pictures. I took some pictures and I shared them. And there were some people that was upset about it. There were some people saying, oh, these buildings owned by private. I know they owned by buildings owners. But guess what? The city council has the authority to write ordinances. And they can hold these people accountable for keeping these buildings up. But guess what we don't do? In our community, matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up. I got my other phone here. My mobile lab, right? But I'm about to look it up. And I'm gonna look up something. I'm gonna look up Perry County. Also, too, while I'm looking this up, I want y'all to hear all the traffic that's passing through on Highway 80 that we aren't leveraging and we aren't taking advantage of, so we can get these people to stop and spend money in this town, and we can have the tax revenue that can go to making this place better. But we just okay with the same old, right? This building didn't get like it got overnight. The city didn't get like it got overnight. It just didn't. But what happens is we gotten way too comfortable. Perry County, Alabama. Hold on. Yep. Population. And demographics. All right. Perry County population and demographics. It said Perry County, Alabama has approximately 7,700 to 8,500 people. Predominantly rural, majority black. That means that, watch this, in Perry County, 70 to 71% of the population is black people. That means that 7 out of 10 people in Perry County are black people. That has been reflective in our leadership. But what has happened is, because of that, because we're a predominantly black area, we don't like holding our black elected officials accountable. We feel like when somebody talking about account and looking at it and asking why we haven't done anything about this, the aesthetics of a town, when everybody pass by and they see it, but when we ask about it, then people want to get in their feelings. They want to get in their feelings because they don't like the fact that you are holding people accountable. Holding people accountable. This guy speeding downtown. I hope the police get him. But I just want everybody to understand that, right? And the audacity to defend incompetence and foolishness. Incompetence and foolishness. But as soon as you hold to account, as soon as you ask a question, As soon as you say, hey, this is what you said, why didn't you do that? All of a sudden, now they want to say you are outsider. They want to say you're an outsider. They want to say you stirring up trouble. You being divisive. When you're holding people accountable for doing the job that they raised their hand and swore oath to do. And that's all that is. That is all it is. Right? Because at the end of the day, there's money coming through, but there's mismanagement. And why aren't these elected officials showing the money coming in, showing the revenue? Why aren't they showing their books? That budget that Perry County did is a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of BS. And anybody, and Albert, if you think anybody gonna believe your word, anybody that believe your word, they add them to the Lulu list. Because they really being delusional. Being delusional. Why? Because you just want somebody to take your word. And when somebody come and say, hey, you say that you got an independent analysis done, okay, people ask, show the report. But you don't show the report. You know why? Because it never existed. It never existed. And you just like to lie after lie after lie. And all these other officials, especially here in Uniontown. Here in Uniontown, I got a lot of questions that I'll be asking. One of the main questions is, where's the budget? I know back in December or January, Mayor Ron Miller asked a question. I guess he presented a budget for review to the council. Where's that posted so the people can see the budget? How many people in Uniontown know how much revenue the city of Uniontown got come in? How many people in Uniontown know how much they spend in salary every year? How many people know if we even got a balanced budget, or we in the red or we in the negative? You know why we don't know that? Because nothing has been done. And Ron Miller's going on his 3rd year as mayor. They haven't done an audit since 2012. It's 2026. That's 14 years ago. And like I said before, my baby girl turned 14 last month, and she going to high school next year. And she was born the same year that they did their last audit. Why aren't we doing audits? Huh? See, everybody wants to get upset about it, but then they complain about the same conditions. And this is the funny stuff. This is the saddening stuff right here. You got people that get upset with me for asking questions about what's going on and the realities of what's going on back here. But these same people, they moved away because of the conditions of what's going on back here. They living in Bessemer, they living in Tuscaloosa, they living in all these other places. They living in all these places. And that's what they left here because of the conditions here. And then all of a sudden, now they mad because somebody talking about it. Well, why did you leave then? Why don't you move back if you got a problem with it? Because I moved back. Because I know that this place can only get better if people hold people accountable. Because it's not going to happen on its own. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, I made a post earlier today. And in that post I made earlier today, the question was asked. And the question was, can a person running for office in Alabama be a witness for an absentee ballot in the same election? Now that's a real good question. Can a person running for office, in Alabama can a person running for office in Alabama be a witness for an absentee ballot in the same election? Right? In the same election. Usually no. The only exception is if that person is running unopposed. For example, in Perry County, for the tax commissioner, Miss Smith, Miss Rita Kennard Smith, she could be a witness on an absentee ballot because she is running unopposed. She is the only person running in the election unopposed. So she is the only person that can be a witness to an absentee ballot in this election. Anybody else, it is unauthorized. Anybody else is unauthorized, right? So I just want people to know that. What does Alabama law say? In Alabama, a person running for office usually cannot serve as a witness or notary for someone's absentee ballot in the same election. The law says that if a candidate has an opponent, they are not allowed to witness or notarize an absentee ballot. There is one exception. If the candidate is running unopposed, meaning no one is running against them, this rule does not prevent them from doing so. Here are the main things to know. A voter using an absentee ballot must fill out an affidavit. That affidavit must be signed in front of either a notary or other authorized official or 2 witnesses who are at least 18. Now, this comes into question. When we got certain people who are notaries that are real close with certain people that are running for elected office, that calls into question the integrity of, are they truly witnessing it, or are they doing it and to say that it was done? You see what I'm saying? And I'm being honest with you. If it was being done, the right way, you should see the majority of them shouldn't be favorable to the person that they support. It should be just absentee ballots. Now, I mean, it should be across the board. Now, let's talk about Senate Bill 1. What is Senate Bill 1 about? Alabama Senate Bill 1 added more rules to protect absentee voting process. Now, the Secretary of State page, I got the link in it. You can go and read it. But on the Secretary of State page, they added more penalties to voter fraud or harvesting absentee ballots. In Alabama, absentee voting is allowed only for the reason listed in the law. It is not just regular voting by mail for everyone. So there's been a common practice of just getting people to vote via absentee ballot. It is known. It is known. That's not a rumor. It is widely known that the people that moved away, they start making phone calls to try to get people to vote via absentee ballot. That's known. And if you think I'm lying, there's people watching this right now know firsthand. They know firsthand. Now, also Alabama law already says this. It is a serious crime to help someone vote illegally. Knowingly vote an absentee ballot unlawfully, or vote both an absentee ballot and a regular ballot in the same election. I remember during the Uniontown mayoral election back in August, there was a man that came to vote in Uniontown. When he went in to vote, he was told that he already voted. And he said, I'm going to marry. And my mama was there supporting my sister and saw that firsthand. How did that happen? How did he already vote? Huh? Now, this is what Senate Bill 1 added. These are the new crimes related to absentee voting. And I'm going to read you guys what the crime says. The crimes are giving voters absentee ballots applications that are already filled in. Pre-filled out absentee ballots. Say it ain't so. So if somebody come to you and give you a pre-filled out absentee ballot, I just want to let you know that is a felony. That is a felony. And that's when we need the people of Perry County to report these people. If they come to you with this, report them. Because you know what they do, and this is what pisses me off about this is what pisses me off about all of that. The thing that pisses me off the most about that is they target elderly and illiterate people in Perry County. They know that a lot of people in Perry County can't read. So they tell them, hey, this what it is. I've known people, it's been reported to me that people say, hey, I want to vote for this person. And they'll go and say, oh, this is the person you want to vote for, and it's somebody else, because they knew they couldn't read. And they will tell them that and have them vote for the person that they want to. And say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. For the elderly people, they take advantage of the elderly people. They come in and they try to be all nice, but try to strong on them just so they can vote for them. Get them a few dollars here and there. That's what they do. That's why you see a lot of the things in Perry County are aimed to support initiatives from Chairman Turner to support the elderly and the disabled. You know why? Who usually votes absentee ballots? So when it come down to it, hey baby, I can't make it, but I'm a vote for Albert, because Albert, he be making sure that we get our bills paid, and we can go through sowing seeds of hope, and they pay our bills, and these light bill high, and they help us out. I'm just telling you, that's what happens. I remember after the last election in Uniontown, there was a comment a lady made. Yeah, Pam, you're right. They just asked the people just to sign the ballot, and that right there is a felony. They go to people, get them a little money, allegedly. Hey, just sign this absentee ballot, and then they turn it in. Do y'all remember a couple years ago, there was somebody reported that they saw Albert with a whole bunch of ballots at like a post office? Albert, what you dealing with ballots for? Allegedly. What you dealing with ballots for? And it ain't nothing new. There's numerous people said that Albert been paying folks for the last 20 plus years up on the hill, going getting people money. And I want people to understand this. All of this stuff happens around election time. So watch this. Watch all of these. They're gonna be passing out rocks, dirt, try to do some fish sandwiches, some barbecues, some hot dogs, hamburgers, all of that stuff coming up. And all of these promises that you don't see nothing else outside of these empty promises around election time. And then after that, you don't see nothing else. But then when you sit down and you ask these questions about, hey, what was the gross mismanagement of the jail in Perry County? What happened to that? That jail is shut down because it wasn't built up to code. They did too many shortcuts when they built it. Why? Why were they cutting corners? You cut corners to save costs. Why were you trying to save costs? Were you trying to save costs so you can allegedly get a little money and some people get paid off of that? Because we got elected officials who just look at what they can get out of something instead of what they can do to make things better for the community. And when we talk about it, we see the results of mismanagement, but everybody don't want to say nothing. And it happens all of the time. Hey, listen, they said, and this is enough, say giving voters absentee ballot applications that are already filled in, turning in someone else's absentee ballot application, accepting a narrow emergency medical situation, getting paid or receiving gifts for handling absentee ballots application, paying someone else to handle absentee ballot applications, right? Help for voters for disabilities. The law still allows a voter who is blind, disabled, or unable to read or write to get help from a person they choose. But that helper cannot be the voter's employer, an agent of the voter's employer, or an officer or agent of the voters union. Right? That's what that says. And all the stuff I just talked about, it goes on all of the time in Perry County. Yep, they said we got to keep an eye on the post office in Marion. It's some funny stuff going on there. Listen, I'm telling you, this is why it's so imperative that we, as a community, we start submitting complaints. We start calling the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State governs all elections. We need to call and flood their office. Send emails. Call. I know some people don't want to send emails. Some people aren't computer savvy, aren't used to it. I got it. But they have a phone number you can call. And you can call and say, hey, look, I got concerns based off of the past few elections based off of Perry County leading the state when percentage of absentee ballots, you can say that and say, hey, we want somebody to come down to see what's going on during the on May 19th. We want y'all to send some people down to monitor it. Now, do y'all remember about 2 weeks ago, I did a live, and on that live, I talked about it was 57 ballots that had issues with them that somebody noticed during the runoff election in Marion, that a certain individual, either Albert Turner or Jeff Easley, handled. They didn't have a seal. They didn't have both witnesses. It wasn't notarized or all of that, but they handled all of them. And there were some people names on there that don't even live in Marion. Somebody else said that they shared with me that they went down there and they saw that they uncle that was on the list, and their uncle had been dead for 2 years. Have been dead for 2 years. Listen, this stuff right here, my prayer is that the people start waking up. The delusion as far as with you being emotionally attached to something and remaining loyal is a personal choice. But that does not take away the fact of the mismanagement, of the corruption, of all of these crazy things that goes on in our area in the Black Belt. Period. Drive around. Crazy work. Crazy work. And the thing is, while I'm live right now, you can hear all the traffic coming through. You can hear the traffic coming through. Why don't we have anything to take advantage of that? Why aren't we trying to get at least a small time truck stop or something that can take all of this traffic coming through? Get a fast food restaurant or something that come through here. Nothing against the mom and pop shops, but how much money are we getting off of if you're driving on Highway 80? You know, the only thing you see on Highway 80 is talking about the state champions for welcome to the state champions, RC Hatch Bobcats. You don't see no advertising for businesses. Nothing. And if you go to other places, guess what? That's all they do. Driving home yesterday, drove through Georgia, drove through Bryan County. Bryan County is about 20 miles from Liberty County, where I lived at in Hinesville. Bryan County, they got Pembroke. Matter of fact, Pembroke has about the population of Pembroke, Georgia. I'm about to look it up. Pembroke, Georgia, population. Pembroke, Georgia, they got a population between 2,500 to 2,700 people. Y'all hear what I'm saying? 2,500 to 2,700 people. In Pembroke, they got a Taco Depot. It's real good too, man. They got them street tacos, bussin'. They got a McDonald's that's attached to a gas station. They got a Subway. They got a pizza place. They got a Chick-fil-A truck that comes in from Statesboro, because Statesboro is about 30 miles from there. They come in a couple days out of a week. You go to that downtown, they got businesses all downtown, 2,700 people. Now you go down, you go a few more miles, you go about 10 miles, you're running I-16. I-16 runs straight into Savannah. And it runs, it runs east. So I took, coming home, I take I-16 through Macon to Macon. When we get on I-16, Bryan County, that same county with a town with 25 to 2,700 people. They had about 10 industries on the highway where jobs at. And I'm talking about jobs where people making $20 plus $30 an hour. because they leverage the interstate that's running right there. They got distribution centers. They got all types of stuff right there. And I was just looking and I was thinking, like, dang, they leverage the resources and the things that they have. Well, we got Highway 8 running right through the heart of Uniontown. Marion is a beacon for civil rights. How much money Marion making off of tourism? The birthplace of Coretta Scott King, the hometown of Jimmy Lee Jackson. And how much money are people making? Huh? What do we do? Right? And then you look at it and we talk about infrastructure. People talking about water and all this, and everybody just comfortable. Listen, I'm telling people this. Just because you used to it, that don't mean I got to accept it. Just because you used to the water being the same way and you cool with the people in charge and the decision makers, I ain't gonna be cool with that. I'm not gonna be cool with that at all. So I don't understand why people want people to be cool with that. I don't understand why people want people to be comfortable with that, because that's crazy work. That's what we call delusional. It's delusional. That's another truck. More traffic. As I sit in front of this decapitated building that don't even have a nothing but the brick walls are up and the roof caved in and everything. Right? And when we sit down and we talk about it and we have these conversations, listen, it is clear who's responsible. And this is the thing that is what I've been trying to understand from a logical perspective. You have people who hold me to a higher standard than the decision makers that's responsible for the conditions. Crazy work. Crazy work. If you ain't gonna fix it, then shut up. Huh? I know the water bad. Well, why won't you say something to the people that's responsible? And we talk about that, but nobody want to, every time we talk about it, people want to sit down and act like everything cool. No, it's not cool. It's not cool. And, Albert, I hope you ain't think you were going to get away tonight, my boy. I hope you ain't think you were going to get away with it tonight, my boy. I saw you posted pictures that you was at Jesse Jackson's funeral yesterday. Jesse Jackson's funeral was in Chicago. I just want you to know. I just want you to know, my boy. You can expect me, because listen, I know this to be true. That y'all currently have a committee of you and Barbara Howes that determines who get on the agenda. Right? But just so you know, I'm going to submit to get on the agenda. And one of my questions that I'm asking, right? One of the questions that I'm asking is, did you use county funds to go to the funeral? And I want you to prove it. Don't just say no. I want you to prove it. Prove it. I want you to prove it. I'm dead serious about it. The community wants you to prove it, because you know what? That wasn't no county business. That was personal business. You made a post about how close Jesse Jackson and your family is. That's personal. They ain't got nothing to do with Perry County, the governance of Perry County. Nothing. There's some other things I would be inquiring about. So get ready for that, especially them records, especially those records. And I just want you to understand that, because these things right now, I want these. Listen, I'm telling you right now, the awareness being raised, people, eyes are opening up. The next step is engagement, right? And the engagement is going to be, people are going to show up at these meetings, these city council meetings, these county commission meetings, the people will be there. They will be there. They will fill these seats to the point where you guys will start having to host it in other places to fill the demand of the people being there. You know why? Because the people been sitting around for the last 40 years trusting people that they see that these folks ain't got their best interests at hand. They don't have their best interests at hand at all. And with you, Albert, as much as you lied within the last 96 hours, just how much you lie after lie after lie, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. And I'm looking forward to see to hear what you say in the morning on the radio. I'm looking forward to hear what you say on the radio. Because if you're going to talk about me, say my name. It's Robert Lovejoy Shepherd. Robert Lovejoy Shepherd. Right? Like yours is Albert Fitzgerald Turner and not Albert Turner Jr. Mine is Robert Lovejoy Shepherd and not Robert Shepherd Jr. Period. Right? And I just tell people this. I tell people this. I tell people this, right? I want people to understand this completely. At the end of the day, my whole goal is for our community to come together, right? To get past all of this racism BS, because they've been using that against each other. And I would tell you this. Right? I'm gonna let everybody know this, and I'm being honest. The more and more I've seen it, the more and more I've been doing this for 4+ months straight, the more and more I've been realizing of how they use race to stimulate people's emotions, because they know people are emotional about race, and I'm talking about both white and black people. And they use that to stimulate people's emotions so people can vote emotionally instead of looking at the truth of what it is. To look at the truth of what it is. And the truth is, we as a community have failed. We failed because we have allowed our complacency to give free reign to individuals who don't give a crap about you or the community. Only thing they care about is their own well-being and their own self-interest. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. What people say, and I'm gonna just ask y'all this question. Think about it. What people say this: if I pastor a church, and I pastor a church locally here. Now, it doesn't matter about me being a retired major. Doesn't matter if I'm a disabled veteran. If I pastor a church and I had a lot of poor people in my church, and I go and I buy me a 6-figure car, a real nice car, like something like a 2026 Infiniti, or something like a BMW, something like that. If I bought that, what everybody be saying? What would they be saying? Oh man, he's stealing the church money. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. They'll be saying he's stealing the church's money. So if people would say that about a pastor in a church, even though they just don't even have all of the facts, why we got elected officials doing the same thing and they making less than $25,000 a year for their job? It ain't working another job. If they have another job, then you start looking at it. And then watch this. They don't have audits published. You can't find expenditures. You can't find a budget. You don't know what the city went out. You don't know nothing about the city. They don't provide anything. They just sit back, have meetings, come up. Folks get their check. They get their $400. they get their $2,000 and they go on, and then they the same old. And then when you start talking about asking questions, oh, well, we're a rural area. We're a rural area. You know, we can't, you know, we don't make a lot of money. We don't have a lot of revenue. Okay, well, how much revenue do we bring in? How much revenue? Right? So I just want people to understand that, man, like the hypocrisy of it. We have different standards, man, and we sit around here and we look. And guess what? I'm retired. I got time to do research, and I come with the facts. And if you don't like facts, that's a personal problem. You can block me. But that still don't change the fact that in our area, a lot of stuff has been going on that's been crazy, and we have tolerated it. We have tolerated it big time. Big time. And I let everybody know, the outsider is back home. And I'm looking forward to meeting people. I'm looking forward to meeting like-minded people. I'm looking forward to getting to know a lot of people in the community. But I'm looking forward to see the actions of the people, because it's time for the community to take action. And what I mean by take action is not just sit around and be complacent. We got to do some stuff. We got to do some work. We got to. Now I got to cut it short tonight. Got to go pick my sister up. But hey, I would keep this thing going. Did it through a move. Committed to it because it's divine. It is divine. It is 100% divine. I'm just telling you, right? And at the end of the day, you'll be amazed what you'll learn if you just take an hour out of your week, or 2 hours out of a month, to sit down and go to these city council meetings, to these county commission meetings. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. Next week is going to be an eventful week for me. Still got to travel. Got to go back, get my retiree ID. You know what I'm saying? Get my Alabama driver's license. Get my gun permit. What else? Yeah, just do a lot of different things. A lot of different things. Oh, let everybody know there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. A lot of things. Got a lot of ideas to continue to raise awareness, because it's not stopping. Got a lot of ideas to engage people in the community. One thing about it is, we say one thing about it, two things for sure. Community, we don't need these elected officials to agree on things that we can do, especially for our youth. There's been a lot of lip service. There's a lot of things that the community can do, especially like organizing to clean up the parks and do all of these things. People can get their own lawnmowers or whatever. We can organize to see what the legality is. We ain't got to sit around and wait, because we've been waiting for all this time. It ain't nothing but empty promises. Empty promises and emergency meetings. That's all you have. Empty promises and emergency meetings. I'm going to say that again. Empty promises and emergency meetings, and people posting about people on Facebook but not updating the community which they were duly elected to serve. Well, you guys have a great and wonderful day, right? Be safe, be vigilant. Hey, them mosquitoes, man, them things, hey, listen, I've been swiping the whole time I'm out here. Y'all been seeing me like this. They getting close. But y'all have a great day. Great to be back home, and talk to you later. God bless. Well, I will be talking to you later in a minute. Every time I do that, I get this slow connection thing pop down, and then now I can do it. Hey, if I have lied, please provide me with proof, credible proof, and I will come back on here, and as loudly as I've held people accountable, I will say I lied, I was wrong. Right? But go check out Educate to Elevate 334 on YouTube. All of these lives, all of the content, a lot of this content is going over there for repository reasons. Because y'all know people like to go back and they like to change stuff and edit stuff, and we keep receipts over here. God bless.